So this video is a follow on from where I did obstacle training with Trojan, and this is done the same day. So after I've done the obstacles, I've then gone and begun truck loading for the very first time. So how I do truck loading with horses who haven't obviously been on a truck before is a very similar method to how I do obstacles, in that the moment they show a positive forward step, I take pressure off and take them away from the stimulus and give them a break as a reward. And so I'm just buffering the edges of the unknown. If I was just to go and try to stand up in front of him and pull him on and try to take him into this big dark box, I'm going to be putting him into such a state of stress that he's going to be trying to fight and flight. And even if I can overcome that and be bossy enough to have them go on, they're going to be frozen. And when I finally close the divider on them, that's when I'm going to get issues like exploding or having difficulty reloading next time. So essentially, the ramp is just an obstacle, and I just lunge him up to it. I point and I direct just as I would when I'm lunging and doing the obstacles, and the second he shows a positive improvement, I release the pressure. In this case here, he's kind of doing the same attempt as he did before, so I just kept the pressure, and you can see he's saying, but I've already answered it, and I said, you have begun the answering of it, but now I want a little bit more. And so I just keep the pressure there until he gives me a little more. Then I walk him away, release the pressure. And that walking away is the most important part of it, because if you keep them there and you keep flooding that brain and you put them under too much stress, it results in too much anxiety. So now that he's got his front feet on it, I've just gotten up higher than him just so that he's not getting up in front of me. And I'm just directing him a little bit further. There you can see there's that little moment of worry. And when I back him off or I turn him around, I don't care if it's a little bit messy, because I want them to get a little bit uncomfortable with their feet kind of going off the side and not having the feet in perfect places, because at some stage things are going to go wrong, and I want them to be sensible about it and be able to figure out where their feet are and be able to have a positive response. So here you can see I just lead him off, and he learns to be clever with his back feet and his front feet and just quietly pop off the side. There he's gotten a little bit stuck and a little bit stressed, and so I just quietly wait. There he's stuck again. He's looking at me, trying to figure out what I'm, wanting from him. And that's why that release of pressure is so important, in making sure that the reward process is really smooth. And then every now and then when he's done a particularly good job or he's really worried, I'll go up and pat as well. But the most important thing is the release of pressure, and also your voice can be a great reward system as well. So essentially, by the time I finally get him on the truck, he's been up and down the ramp 10, 20 times. It's not that I've just pulled him up to the base, dragged him on and put him inside, and then he's only in there one time. He's been on and off, and it's that repetition that gives him the confidence that he needs. One, that he knows sort of what to do, and two, that he knows that he's not just trapped in there. He's leaving, he's going away from the stimulus, he's coming back to it, he's leaving. So after an amount of pressure, there's always a little bit of a reward. So I've taken him all the way into the truck. While I'm in there, I'm just quietly doing a turn on the forehand just so he can turn around nicely, and then just leading him off. And you can see there with the licking of the lips, he's starting to process it, but repetition is really important in cementing that neural pathway in the brain. So that's why I do it again and again. And it's not to the point where they're getting bored or tired or over it, but because I break it down into tiny little steps, by the time I finally get to the big answer, they've already laid those foundations quite a few times. So there you can see he's starting to slip off the back. If he did slip off the side of the ramp, no worries. I'll just quietly reintroduce him, and if he's smart about that, he will fix it and not do it again. I wouldn't want to tell him off for it, and I don't want to be so paranoid about it that I'm trying to prevent him from doing it. At the end of the day, if he steps off, it's half a metre, he'll put his back foot on the ground and then correct himself and be smarter the next time. So there he's really clever with his back feet. When he came down the ramp, he took his time and he was really thoughtful about it. I don't want to micromanage my horses to the point where they never make mistakes, because one day when they do make a mistake, they become so stressed because they don't know how to fix it. I want to set my horse up and say, here we go, here's what I want. If they make a mistake, I say, actually what I wanted was a little bit more of this, and then they go, oh, okay, no worries, and then I get really positive quick finishes. So if you consider that this is his very first time truck loading, he's very relaxed in his body language. There's still a little bit of uncertainty. You can see his ears sometimes cocking down. I've asked him to come off the ramp and he's decided he wants to stay up there, which is a really positive response. He's not having to rush off and panic about anything because it's just been broken down into such little steps. So he'd quite happily stay on there all day, but for the sake of finishing the video, I've popped him off. And then that's the complete session. Now he's just going to go get put away in the yard, and that's that. And that's about a 5-minute video, and that's all I would do.